In the project that we've been doing that's funded by IOSH, we've been looking at the application of virtual reality and also adding in multisensory element to virtual reality in applications for occupational safety and health. So there are a couple of things that we've been looking at. One is looking at whether virtual reality can be used to predict how people will behave in an emergency. And then the second part of the project was looking at whether that would make an effective training tool on how to respond in emergency situations.
So it's interesting to think about the responses of the participants to the multisensory virtual reality, because we generally found that people were very positive towards it. There's a lot of engagement with the virtual reality. And in particular, what we found was that the behaviours demonstrated in the multisensory virtual reality were more reflective of those that we would expect in real life. So that is, we believe the behaviours in the multisensory are more valid than a straightforward audio-visual experience.
We saw an increased level of immersion in the multisensory virtual reality condition. Generally speaking, there was a bit of a difference in it seemed as though people were treating it more as a simulation when we didn't have the multisensory element. So when it was just vision and audio, there was some people were kind of treating it like a simulation of a fire rather than as though they were in a fire. When we had the multisensory elements, it kind of snapped people out of game mode and they started to treat it more as though they were really in a building that was on fire.
So if I was to report on the affordability of this system, if we think about the hardware, the costs came in of this system around £2,700. Now, most of that, £2,000, is on the high-spec laptop. So if we think about the hardware, it's actually very affordable for an organisation to build this multisensory system.
It's really important to understand how people will behave in emergency safety situations. We can design buildings, and there's been a lot of attention on this recently, particularly when you've got things like the Grenfell Tower disaster. There's a lot on the building design, but actually when it comes to how people act, that's a really important predictor of the safe outcomes of the emergency situation. So understanding how people are going to behave in an emergency situation is critical, and we found that using the multisensory virtual reality is a really good way of predicting how people will behave.